In a remote part of the world, often hostile UFOs have been brazenly flying around night and day for over a century. In 1995, Australian engineer Marius Borayan moved to the Solomon Islands following a career in the Royal Australian Air Force and then work as an aircraft engineer in outback Australia. After marrying a Solomon Islander from the island of Malaita and developing friendships with local people in his community, Borayan became aware of strange and mysterious phenomena that others around him took as commonplace. His realisation that there was a long history of encounters with unexplained aerial craft and alien entities compelled him to search for hidden UFO bases. The frequent but not at all friendly occurrences were known locally as the dragon snake, an apparent creature that emerged from the mountains at night and flew around, its piercing red eyes sometimes even killing the onlooker. It was also thought responsible for disappearances, the abductions of those who went missing. Initially sceptical of the seemingly mythical creature, Borayan was astonished when one was pointed out to him one night when fishing with two friends. An intensely bright, luminous white object was flying slowly over the water about 1 kilometre away. He used his binoculars to focus in on the brilliantly lit object, estimating it as around 60 feet in diameter while virtually silent. It then sank into the sea, whereupon his friend Joseph told him that it would re-emerge in about 10 minutes. This it did, glowing twice as brightly as before, then returned back toward the coast in the direction from where it had come, disappearing over the coconut trees into the distance. These sightings were so common that Borayan stopped counting at 60 over a 7-month period, also informing his friends that the dragon snakes are what other cultures call unidentified flying objects. They indicated that the phenomenon had frequented that part of the world for well over a century and was much feared for the deaths and abductions it was associated with. In fact, the grandfather of one of Borayan's good friends had been incinerated by one of those blazing UFOs in the early 1900s. Over time, many Solomon Islanders told Borayan of the flat, stingray-type UFOs with large round lights on their underside that hum as they travel. Sometimes they are seen flying low over the jungle or surfacing out of the sea, near where locals are fishing. The UFOs can land near villages, and the figures who get out of them wear strange grey uniforms of no known identity. Borayan came to believe that a subterranean species of extraterrestrial, a group he calls subterrestrials, was dwelling beneath Guadalcanal and Malaita regions of the Solomon Islands. Intriguingly, he noticed that the UFO he witnessed on multiple occasions would always go to the same location in the open sea, sparking curiosity about what actually lay beneath the waves there, as well as the question, where did the UFO go when it wasn't flying around? He was aware that the sea in front of his village had been the scene of a huge naval battle between a Japanese fleet and ships of the Allied forces during World War II. This had resulted in the biggest loss of Allied ships during the war, which included heavy cruisers, America's USS Chicago and Australia's HMAS Canberra. After studying historical archives in Solomon Islands' capital, Honiara, Borayan was astonished to realise that the UFOs were submerging in the exact location where most of these ships had sunk. Realising that he was witnessing not one but many UFOs, his curiosity led him to investigate the potential UFO waterfall lake base of northwest Guadalcanal and later the possible UFO bases of Malaita. His first sighting convinced him of the existence of extraterrestrials, while the many horrific stories he heard about encounters showed that their presence could not be considered friendly. For example, a chief he met at a baby christening related that his own brother had been slain by the dragon snake when he was a child. Boirayan also wondered why the UFOs had such a great interest in the old submerged warships, and speculated that they may be sourcing any remaining gunpowder, while questioning why these seemingly advanced beings would have a need for mere gunpowder. Guadalcanal locals were able to indicate to him on a map where the dragon snake lives, within an unnamed mountain, part of a mountain range that includes nearby Mount Papori. The unnamed mountain, located about 8 kilometres inland and providing access to the sea via a 5k long valley, Boirayan later named Mount Dragon. The locals described to him a large waterfall high up in the mountain over a lake into which the water cascades. That lake is where the dragon snake lives. On studying a topographical map of Mount Dragon, he saw that there is a small lake in the mountain, that is, the mouth of a river. At one stage, Boirayan's friend Joseph told him that a fisherman he knew was in hospital with injuries inflicted by a UFO 2 nights previously. The unfortunate man had sustained burns to most of his body. He and Joseph visited the fisherman in hospital, finding him wrapped in bandages from head to toe, in a great deal of pain and sedated. Joseph was able to converse with him in the Guadalcanal language, and was told that he had been out fishing in his boat at about 3 a.m. when he caught sight of the dragon snake in flight. Somewhat recklessly, he started flashing his torch at the craft, which flew over to him in an instant and hovered above him. Panicking, the man started his motor and sped away, but the craft followed him closely as he zigzagged his return to shore. During the short pursuit to the beach, the craft fired some kind of light at him, which only partially hit him. His 18-foot fiberglass boat was later found to show traces of scorching on its interior paint. The fisherman said that after driving his boat up the beach and running into the bush, the dragon snake pursued him to where he hid behind a tree, then hovered above. When he circled around to the other side of the tree, the craft also moved around to the other side. At this stage, he literally fell to his knees and began to pray, whereupon the UFO moved on. The man then stumbled his way back to his village, from where he was taken to hospital. Boirayan later discussed the so-called dragon snake with his father-in-law John, describing what extraterrestrials are commonly thought to look like: 4 feet tall with large heads, big eyes, 4 fingers, transparent skin, etc. John told him that there was a book in the Solomon Islands Cultural Museum which contains pictures depicting this exact kind of being. An immediate visit to the museum uncovered the book with 14 detailed hand-drawn sketches of aliens just like those Westerners are used to seeing in popular culture. An islander had compiled the small collection of drawings for the museum, derived from different eyewitness accounts of the strange-looking beings. While an introductory text said that the drawings were of some Solomon Islands mythological beings, Boirayan queried how could the local people know anything about these kinds of extraterrestrials when 99.9% of them had never been exposed to Western media. Boirayan continued to collect data on the phenomenon, culminating in his book Solomon's Islands Mysteries. One night he watched a UFO submerge into the water near the wreck of the USS Chicago and then resurface, shining more brightly. Through his binoculars he spotted some lights of an approaching ship, which he knew the UFO couldn't see because of its angle. After about 30 seconds, when he realised the UFO did now see the ship, he was astonished to see it instantly vanish, either by immediately accelerating or cloaking itself in some way. He realised that the UFO didn't mind the indigenous people seeing it, but was concerned when spotted by someone who would possibly know its real identity. His next sighting confirmed that the UFOs do emerge from a valley pointed out to him by two chiefs. During a night's high-up stakeout, he and Joseph watched a UFO leave the valley's entrance, approach, then take an instantaneous 45-degree turn and accelerate away at phenomenal speed, its light fading over the horizon within seconds as it still travelled at near sea level. He believes that he has since located the UFO headquarters, a jungle mountain enclave in central Malaita with 3 entrances. There, he and others have observed that ball of light type UFOs entering and exiting multiple times. He believes that these entrances are not separate bases, but all interconnected below, comprising one huge UFO base under the island. He also believes that one of many reasons why they are based there is that they may be mining a very rare type of gemstone under the kimberlite, diamond-yielding rock volcanic island.